Every Sunday is an NFL Sunday. We got breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, and it is official. Our Jason Lock-on-Fora confirms that the Tennessee Titans and the Falcons have reportedly come to terms on a deal that will send all-pro wide receiver Julio Jones to Tennessee in exchange for a 2022 second-round pick. Atlanta will also get Tennessee's 2023 fourth-rounder. Jones is heading into year 11 of his illustrious career, trailing only Jerry Rice in receiving yards through 10 seasons. Let's welcome in our guy, Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior NFL writer. Pete, big deal coming down here on Sunday. It's been weeks in the making, but the landing spot is Tennessee. Julio Jones and all that cap money that comes with him heading on over to the Titans. Your initial reaction to this deal is what?
I'm a little surprised that the Titans were as aggressive as they were. This is a team that is ground and pound with Derrick Henry and then try and throw over the top, but it does give them another dimension. I mean, when you match up with them, remember, Jonnu Smith was their tight end. He's not there. That was one of the threats they had in the passing game. Corey Davis not there. So you needed to get another one. Obviously, you go out and make the big deal to get Julio Jones. You're going for it. This is a big splash for the Titans. I think with Jones and A.J. Brown, you have two big, strong, physical receivers that are going to cause a lot of problems in the play action with Ryan Tannehill. So I like the move for the Titans. They do have some cap ramifications to kind of work out with this trade, but it is an aggressive move for a team that's been in the playoffs the last couple of years.
Yeah, Jones carries a $15 million salary this season, accounting for about 6% of this shrunken cap here in 2021. So we'll see what those cap ramifications are on Tennessee's side of things, who also already has one of the pricier offenses across the league. But from a schematic fit, Pete, how do you like this? Because, yes, it is a matchup nightmare for defenses across the league, but Jones said it in the lead up to this deal that he wanted to go somewhere that had a quarterback that can throw the deep ball. Ryan Tannehill, he's got a big arm, but in most of those deep ball metrics, ranges somewhere in the middle of the pack across the NFL. Do you like Jones and the fit within this offense alongside Brown?
Yeah, I do, and here's why. And remember, it's going to be a new offense. Arthur Smith is gone, so it's a little bit of a different system for them. But when you look at what they want to do, they want to pound it with Derrick Henry, and that means when he's running wild, you have to bring the eighth man down in a lot of situations. And if you do, that means that either A.J. Brown, Julio Jones are going to be in some one-on-one situations, and you love that as an offensive play caller. If they back off and they double those guys on the outside, then you just keep on pounding Derrick Henry. So I think it's a smart move from an offensive standpoint. You'd like to see, I'm sure Julio Jones probably sits there and says, I wouldn't mind have gone to a team that's going to throw it around a little bit more than what the Titans will do. But I think ideally it does give them some matchup issues against good defenses, and you got to make a decision. Do you bring the eighth guy down and try and stop the run with Derrick Henry, or do you double those guys on the outside and let Derrick Henry beat you? It's going to be a tough call for defensive coordinators.
One thing we don't see as a part of this deal, Pete, that we've seen as a part of wide receiver deals in the past, namely DeAndre Hopkins, is new money for Jones. He's due 15 this year, 11 in 2022, and then 11.5 in 2023. 2023 is also when A.J. Brown comes to the table for his contract, if not sooner. Just from a dollars and cents type thing here for Jones and where he's at this juncture in his career, does this strike you as a wide receiver who's more concerned about getting a ring on his finger than he is about getting 100 receptions a season?
Well, I think ideally you'd like to get both.
Yeah.
I've known Julio Jones for a long time, and he's been a big part of what they've done on the offensive side of the ball. And remember, he didn't catch a lot of touchdowns for a long time in his career, and that was a kind of a ding on his resume. But I think this is one of those situations where Julio Jones will come in there and try and prove that he can take this offense to a new level along with A.J. Brown. And if that's the case, he has a phenomenal season, then I think the Titans are going to be in a tough situation. They're going to have to give him a new contract. They're going to have to give A.J. Brown a new contract. And when you look at that team, can you afford to give both those guys big deals? Probably not. So this might be one of those situations where it's a one-year rental unless he explodes and they decide to give him the mega contract.
All right, taking a look at this division, it will be mighty competitive at the top where the Titans will likely find themselves. Does this move and this addition to the offense make them the favorite in the division in your estimation?
The decision that will make them the favorite will be whether they can rush the passer or not. And I know they addressed it with Bud Dupree, but they were pretty darn good on offense last year, and they had 19 sacks as a team. You can't win consistently in the NFL deep into the postseason when you have to play Patrick Mahomes, you have to play Josh Allen and gang if you can't rush the passer. So it helps the offense, yes, but this team will ultimately, their fate will ultimately be decided by how they rush the passer and how they play defense.
It surely helps. Ryan Tannehill is one of the people that it namely helps. Probably helps some wide receivers in Atlanta who will now get a lion's share, Calvin Ridley being the lone recipient of all of those empty Julio stats that were not there when he was injured a season ago. But in the terms of Tannehill, and what this means for his career, yes, ground and pound offense, but Tannehill has shown that ability to be a constant force in this Titans offense, really about as consistent as they come in his play and his availability. What does this do for Ryan Tannehill on the juncture that he's at in his career?
Yeah, I think this is great for Ryan Tannehill. You know, look, he's been very good for the Titans. He's rejuvenated his career. You know, he had a lot of problems over the course of his career playing in Miami when he had a bunch of different offenses to learn, and it kind of set him back. He's developed into a really good quarterback. It helps that they run the ball the way they do. And you look at that yards per attempt, 8.54. That tells you they run the ball and take shots. And when you can run the ball the way they do with Derrick Henry and take those one-on-one shots down the field, you're going to get a lot of big plays. So Ryan Tannehill has to be thrilled with this move.
Guy Pete Prisco breaking it all down here on CBS Sports HQ. We appreciate the time, Pete. And don't forget, there's plenty more breakdown to be had. Our guys on the Pick Six podcast going to dig into it all as Julio Jones makes his way to the Music City, now a Tennessee Titan, joining that offensive attack. Will Brinson in the game, break it all down. Download and subscribe to the Pick Six podcast.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.